Hi, welcome to Internet of Things tutorial from Robojax. In this tutorial we are going to learn how we can control 4 AC bulb or 4 loads using 4-channel relay and NodeMCU to turn on and off AC load, DC load, fan via web interface. When I click it, it turns on, turns off, and also relay number 2, relay number 3 can be turned on and off. Now let's turn on the light, turn on the relay and using D1 Mini to turn on and off the lights or relays. You can get the code for this by clicking at the link below the video in the description, which will take you to robojax.com/learn/Arduino. Let's get started with this. Working with AC is very dangerous. Make sure that once this is connected, do not touch here, and also make sure that this is not on a surface that is metallic, because short circuit will cause fire and is very dangerous. And if you are unsure how to proceed with AC, seek help from some professional or person who can handle it safely. Otherwise, I would suggest using a DC load and 12 volts DC, or maybe 5 volts, 6 volts just connected here, so you can turn it on and off and learn. And later on, if you're using it practically in some application, then seek help from someone who can handle this safely. I've received a lot of requests to control loads or AC load, AC bulb, fan, or whatever you have, or DC over the Wi-Fi with NodeMCU and D1 Mini ESP8266. So I've created one channel relay using your mobile device or desktop computer, and then for 2 channel, this is the 4th channel, and I'm going to create also an 8 channel video as well. So we are going to control it using this NodeMCU from your computer or your mobile device. If you need the wiring diagram for this, it will be available as part of my Arduino course at Udemy, where you can learn Arduino from ground up in a structured course, step by step, with all the code, library, and wiring diagram in one place. The link for my course is below the video in the description. For this demonstration, I'm going to use this AC bulb. This is a plug that will be connected to wall outlet, and the light will be turned on. At the middle, at this point, I have disconnected the wire, one of the wire, the live wire here, and I've twisted them and prepared them. These two will be connected to the relay. Job of relay is to turn it on by connecting these 2 wires, turning on the light, and disconnecting it, turning it off. So this can be a bulb or a fan or any other load, the same way the relay will connect it and disconnect it. These 2 wires from your load, in this case an AC bulb, if it is a fan or motor, the 2 wires from that will be inserted to one of these 4 relays that we have. So if you want to connect it to relay 1, out of these 3, it will be connected to these 2 pins in here. If you want it for relay 2, it will be connected here. The 3rd pin is not connected. The same way for the 3rd and 4th. And here I've connected it to relay 1 to these 2 pins. I have external power supply. These 2 are my power supply, 5 volts for the relay. This pin on this side is connected to 5 volts. This side is connected to the ground using these 2 wires that goes to my external power. And then here we have input 1, 2, 3, and 4. For 4 relays, accordingly, the last one is connected to D1. It has been connected to D1, D2, D3, D4. Accordingly, and then from one of the ground, doesn't matter which one, from this G or ground, I've taken and I've connected it to my external ground, to my external power supply. And here is the wiring for D1 Mini. Channel 1 is black, 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been connected using these wires here from 1, 2, 3, and 4. On this side we have D1, D2, D3, and 4, and the last pin is ground. Ground is connected to my external 5 volts ground. The first thing that you need to prepare is your Arduino for ESP8266. I have a separate video explaining that, but here I can tell you quickly. I will provide you the link. Click on File, Preferences, and then Additional Board Manager's URL. Click here and then paste the link that I provided. I will provide you this one, so you copy and paste it here. Once you paste it, you click OK, and then click OK. Now this link will make Arduino to know where to look for the board. Then click on Tools, Board, and then Board Manager. Once you're able to type ESP8266. Then you will see this ESP8266 by ESP8266 community. And if you have not installed it, in my case it is installed and there is a remove button. In your case, if you have not installed it, you will see here install button. Click on it and wait until the bar graph finishes and then close. And you have to select your board before using it. Click on Tools, Boards, and here there are tons of other boards, but the one that we are using will be generic ESP8266 module. Select this, and the rest of the settings should be automatic. And then you have to select, of course, the right port. If you don't know what is the port that you're using, on the Start menu, right click, go to Device Manager, or any other way that you have. Go to Device Manager, and under the port, collapse it, and you will see serial, USB serial. Maybe you will see some different numbers, but this is a chip for USB CH340. That's COM11, and that's why I've selected here and the COM11. To explain the code, first you have to understand this page. This interface is an HTML page which is generated by the NodeMCU or D1 Mini. ESP8266 is generating this. If I press Ctrl U, you will see the HTML text that is generated by the microcontroller. And here it starts from this tag, which is HTML, and HTML ends or closes with / here. And then in between, this is the title where you can see it in here. And each push button is divided into division or div. And here it says light 1 on, and these are the values. And these are the style for the color of the background. So each is represented like that. So this is generated with ESP8266, which I'm going to explain next. Now let me explain the code. This code is taken from an example. If you select your ESP8266 board and then go to File, Examples, and under Example for generic ESP8266 module, scroll down until you see ESP8266 web server and then Advanced Web Server. If you open it, you will see this page, but I have heavily modified it so it can be used for controlling the relay. First, I've added this mapping for the pin for ESP8266, either D1 Mini or NodeMCU. So these are random numbers for the pins, but we can enter these values that are printed on most of the modules. They have printed D2, which means 4. So you don't need it. So you type whatever is the printed value on the board. First, we define how many relays we have. In this case, we have 4. And then relay pin is an array of length relay count, which is 4. And then we put the pins, which we have defined here. I've put them in order, so your wiring will be very easy side by side, so you don't make mistake. And then relay state is the state of relay, either initial state or later on will be used by the code. And this is referring to relay 1, relay 2, relay 3, relay 4, and also these also the pins that relay 1, relay 2, 3, and 4 is connected. And these values, 1 means off and 0 means on. So if you want to keep the relay off, put 1, 1, 1, and this will cause the relay to be off initially, otherwise make it 0 to be turned on. And then button title 1 and button title 2. Title 1 is a title that when you click, so this is title 1, and when you click it goes to title 2. You see this on changes to off, and also background color and the other stuff will be changed. So light 1 on, light 2 on, as you can see I've named them. And if you have fan, you can call it fan 1, fan 2, fan 3, or if you have motor or whatever. So these are on, these are off values. And then these are the argument ID. We call it R1, R2, R3, relay 1, relay 2, relay 3. Even if you use something else, please do not change it. It will create some issue if you do not properly taking care of other settings. So it's just relay 1, relay 2, 3, and 4. These are part of the code which I have not changed. I've put here my SSID for Wi-Fi router, and this R is capital. You pay attention to uppercase and lowercase, otherwise it will not work. And then put your own password. I use this router specifically for recording, so I'm not worried about the password. I will turn it off. This line is initializing the web server at the port 80, and handle root is a function that was there, but I've changed it totally. Inside it I've created a string variable called HTML, and this is the beginning with double quote, and that is the end. In between I have the page, the title, and all these things that you just saw here. All of those is printed from here, but we are also concatenating or adding this value to HTML later on, and then based on for each relay we are creating these buttons using a for loop that goes I equals 0, 1, 2, 3, and here if the relay state is 1, then we print one type of button with one type of text, else we create other button with red color and different text. And this at this line we are just adding everything, so HTML is being completed, and then it's printed in this line server send of the type text and HTML with a code 200. So this is just sending the page to the screen. Not found is a function that takes care of request that is unknown. For example, right now if you pay attention and look at the top, or if I bring my mouse, look at the bottom here, the status bar, you will see that it says / after the IP, it says / relay R1, it says on and then off. So if / relay is defined in the code, if somebody types / book, you will get this error not found, and that is taken care of by this section file not found, which I have not changed it at all. And here inside the setup, again I used a for loop to assign these 4 pins for the as an output, define 4 pins as an output, set initial state of each relay, whatever is the state, either high or low. So instead of creating 8 lines, I just use this for loop. Here I'm defining the serial monitor, initializing it with 115,200 baud, and this is the text being printed. This value must match. If I click here and open it on the right side lower corner, this is the number that must match, otherwise you will not be able to see the text. This was part of the code. I did not change it for Wi-Fi initialization if it is connected. This is also printing the text. I have just added this HTTP before printing the IP address. So if I press the reset button on my device, so it used to print this, but I've just added this HTTP, so you can just copy and paste it, or you can use the multicast DNS ESP8266. Let me copy and paste it so you will see that that one also works on my computer, but as I said, in some devices you might face challenge with this. And this is multicast DNS. We define Robojax ESP8266 to access it, and using this line I'm just printing it. Handle root is taking care of the root, which means if you don't type anything, just IP address, that's called root. Or / relay, this is the line that I've added. we are creating /relay. If the type of request get comes, it will go to this function which I've defined it below this at the end of the code, which I will explain it. And these are part of the original code. I have not changed it. Inside the loop, we initialize the handle client, which takes care of all the requests, and then this is a multicast DNS. It was already there. Here I have created a for loop that starts from I equals 0 and it goes to I equal as long as I is equal smaller than relay count, which is 4, it goes 0, 1, 2, and 3. So when this I changes, it gives the state, and if it checks it, if it is equal 1, then we set the relay to equal high. So this will turn off the relay, else turns it on. So when you send a command from this screen, you are actually changing the relay state, which I will explain next. And here we are just applying it to the pin, so the relay is controlled. This was for the debugging purpose. If you want to remove it, it will print the state of each pin as 0 and 1 for learning and debugging. Leave it like this with / otherwise your ESP8266 will respond very slowly. And then we wait 100 milliseconds and the loop will continuously take the same action over and over again. Here relay control is a function that, again, we have a loop that for each relay we check it, and we check if server argument ID is equal on. At the top of the code, and here R1, R2, 3, 4. So we check it. If it is equal on, then meaning that we have to set it to 0. If the request comes for on, we set 0 means on, so we set the relay state specific. This is I 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that relay will be set to 0. Otherwise, else, if it is equal off, then we set it to 1. So we change accordingly specific relay, because this will be R1 equal on, or R2, or 3, or 4, whatever the value is. Now let me demonstrate it. For demonstration, first we have to make sure that this device, whatever Wi-Fi SSID that this one has, your computer or your phone must be connected to the same Wi-Fi SSID. If I click here, you will see that this is connected to Robojax. After that, I can click here and open the serial monitor, and here I can press this reset button and wait, and it will print the IP address 192.168.1 and 100. I can also access it using this Robojax ESP8266. This is trustworthy and available for sure, but some networks or some devices will not recognize this. It will not be propagated through the network. So you can use this. If it doesn't work, this always works. So let's go 192 and then 100, and here I've pressed Control. I've pressed Control plus to increase the size. You can decrease the size like this. If you press Control 0, that's the original size, and then you can increase it like that. I'm going to show you the LEDs here, because one of the channel 1 is connected to the bulb, and the rest are just these LEDs you will see. And this is now connected. External power is also on. So if I turn on channel 1, as you can see, the LED is on, channel 1 is on, and then channel 2, as you can see, this is on, and then channel 3 and channel 4. Channel 4 is also coincidentally is connected to 0, so it responds perfectly. And using D1 Mini to turn on and off the lights or relays. How to demonstrate it using your mobile device? You must be connected to the same Wi-Fi as the a NodeMCU. This is now Robojax. I'm connected to the right, and I have now entered 192.168.1.100, and as you can see on the screen, we see the same thing that we see here. And now let's turn on the light, turn on the relay channel. As you can see, all of them are on. And can be turned on and off. Thank you for watching. This was how to control 4 relay or 4 load using your Wi-Fi and ESP8266 or NodeMCU or D1 Mini. If you learned something and found this useful, please thumb up, as this will help my video in the search algorithm of YouTube. If you have comment or question, post it at the comment section below. I always try to answer and reply, and make sure to subscribe so you get updates of my upcoming videos.